Well, welcome back, and I've got a bit of an unusual one here this time. The survival rate of these isn't particularly impressive because by the standards of the early 70s they weren't that well made really. This is an Electrophonic 011088 Mark 1 Music Centre, complete with 8-track player, light up radio dial, usual bass, treble, balance and volume controls, full size headphone plug, and there's your track selector for 8 tracks. The ubiquitous BSR turntable sitting on the top. This has needed a bit of attention in the usual things. Full of very, very stiff, waxy old grease that almost congealed to a solid state. Well, I suppose this thing is solid state, but we don't quite mean it like that, do we? And this has an anti-skate control on it too, as well as a means of adjusting the track force. And again, when you look at this, it's a king compared to the crappy pale imitation that one of the manufacturers puts in a supposed auto-changer record player nowadays. It'll play 33, 45s and 78s. Has the usual old-fashioned flip-over needle, of course, to do so. BSR SC12H high output cartridge. I've converted the display there to run with warm white LEDs because every lamp had blown. And alas, that wasn't the only thing that had blown. Trying it at first resulted in a loud, angry hum from both speakers and distorted sound from the right channel, I think. And it turned out that every single capacitor in the power amp had gone down. They'd all gone in the same way, the bigger ones especially, with one leg just rusted clean through, so it wasn't doing anything at all. Yeah, a bit like most politicians really. Anyway, as you can see and hear, we're back to the way we should be now. Electrophonic, I don't know who they were. There was Morse Electrophonic in the US. Of course, this is built for the English 240 volt 50 CPS system. The record deck especially relies on that to keep time. The 8-track mechanism is a low voltage affair and runs at about 14 volts. A similar sort of thing to the one you'd have got in a car back in the day. So the frequency doesn't matter with that, nor I suspect the rest of it. Anyway, let's turn that down a bit. New belt was required for the 8-track player because the existing one stretched and floppying around like some old sea lion on the beach. And speaking of which, we've had the Pirate Day down here today at Hastings, and oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, yeah. Some of the sights you see down there, you really don't wish to. Remarkably, all of the little pilot lights that light up to show you what track you're playing actually work on this. so many of these decks it doesn't record. It's a playback only thing. Some I remember seeing with a cassette deck on top as well, or possibly a slot for an 8-track and then a slot for a cassette. But all most peculiar. The record player took a little bit of getting going and setting up again because it hadn't been used in an absolute age, but the auto changer part does appear to work now. Let's just bring the arm over, and yeah, we're set for 12-inch LP record, 33 1/3 phono on the selector switch, which is a true work of art behind the panel. This is just a crappy old test record, so don't expect too many great things. Has the usual queuing lever there. See if I can get him to turn off. Sticking again. Come on. This hasn't been used in I don't know how long, because of course the amplifier being up the chute probably meant it was just put away in someone's attic and forgotten. So it will take a bit of running in. It's all been cleaned out and everything. There's a little pair of metal plates on the cycling cog underneath these, and for some reason people always oil the bloody things, and you really shouldn't, because if you do they tend to stick, and that's what had happened to this. They were very, very sluggish in operation, and I have cleaned them out 3 times thus far, but there might still be a little bit of residual crap on there, you never know. Oh, the suspense. Come on. It's a good job I keep a number of these old records for testing. Yeah, but that's what that will be. Because some wazzock oiled that years ago and it's gone all gooey and disgusting. As fast as I clean bits out, other bits will appear, no doubt. Lovely, deep joy. Oh well, never mind, we shall persevere. But the survival rate, as I say, of this sort of thing, it's not that impressive because they weren't exactly expensive when they were built. What you've got here really is the innards of one of those USA stereogram console things. The Electrophonic, I think I've heard of them over there much more than here. And there was Morse as well. And quite honestly, some of the consoles they made at the end were a far cry from when Motorola made the first solid state ones and all this sort of thing, and the old valve tube ones. You'd often find there was just a plastic fretwork speaker grill, and behind it, even though it was an enormous cabinet, a 5-inch tinny little speaker. Yes, less said the better. But yeah, this was worth saving for its rarity, I suppose. And once this finds it within itself to work again really well, I'm sure the owner will be delighted. Anyway, with that, I must away because the kettle is boiling. See you soon.